tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey guys! Oh, I like the music.
It's Andre 3000.
Oh, you picked
I did.
Song that...
It's called Spread.
How you guys doing? I'm Jon Manganello, and this is the AFTERBUZZ recap for American Crime, Season 2, Episode 3. So excited to be here today with you guys. American Crime is the show that Entertainment.com is calling the only show on cable television, or excuse me, network television, that could stand to be a little bit longer. The episodes could be longer. They want them to be longer. I'm going to refrain from making a that's what she said joke here and see what you guys think about this.
Yeah, I'm going to say an hour is just enough. Just enough, especially last night's episode. I'm trying not to be bitter. Hi guys, I'm Erica Renee Davis. You can find me on Snapchat, Periscope, Twitter, and Instagram at Erica Renee D. 1 hour is perfect for American
What about
Crime.
you guys down there? Erica J, Nick?
I'm happy with an hour. I would like to binge watch the season. This is definitely a show I would sit down and say I want to know what happens next, because I feel like those last 30 seconds are always epic in this show. I'm Nicholas Grava. You can follow me at Nicholas Grava, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat.
I would like to see maybe the last 6 episodes be longer, because they're probably going to be really good and juicy. And I'm Erica Jaye Green. It's weird that we're doing that on everything social media.
I don't know. It's like in first grade when you like have a new day. It's the first day of school, and you have to introduce yourself, but you also have to say your favorite ice cream flavor.
Yes.
Do you guys want to do that?
I like that.
Okay, I love. Oh God, that's so hard. I love anything like hazelnutty or like Rocky Road, something with chunks in it. And if there's a caramel ribbon, girl, you got me on lock.
Okay. I do not like ice cream, but I've never liked.
She is bitter tonight. She's bitter about ice cream.
She was telling us she drinks a gallon of water a day.
No one got time for that.
But I do. There's one ice cream that I have fallen in love with. Private Selection at Ralph's, East Coasters, Kroger. Private Selection has a sea salt truffle caramel. Y'all, it is
So you do like ice cream.
I love that ice cream.
Okay, well,
sea
I would love
salt
that.
truffle caramel. Private Selection. Go pick it up tonight. I
Quickly,
promise you.
because-
Okay, let me take really quick.
this is off
My
topic.
favorite is just Brigham's chocolate chip. Can only get it in the East Coast, not in LA. It's depressing. Go ahead.
I like
okay.
sherbet. It's good.
Sherbet's good.
Very good. And you can
I like
find me.
half-baked ice cream.
I'm sorry. That's God. God loves half-baked ice cream. You can find me, Johnny Mangs, or you can find my name's Jon Manganello. You can find me, Johnny Mangs, at Johnny Mangs on Twitter and Instagram. Okay, a lot to talk about. We were debating a little bit before we were rolling tonight. I loved this episode. I was on the edge of my couch at home.
Were you just
with some
slouching?
snacks. Yeah, I was slouching, but then I was up on the edge. I loved it, but we got some people who were haters this week.
Nick and I'm gonna pull you down with me.
Okay. Go for it.
Misery Loves
Oh,
Company. It just wasn't. I love the first 2 episodes. Absolutely love the first 2 episodes. This one seemed a little slow for me. When you asked about would we want it to be longer than an hour,
Yeah.
last night's episode. No, thank you. I couldn't have stood that for longer than that hour.
I think
it's dragged for me a little bit.
This writer on Entertainment Weekly, I think, was saying there's so much going on and there's so much complexity. There's so many great themes, characters, and they all run together, and we could see maybe more of it. But yeah, okay, whatever. It doesn't have to be longer.
It needs to be pulled back a little with everything that they're throwing at us. I was telling Erica earlier, it's like they always drop these nuggets to give us clues to what's going to happen, and they were dropping way too many.
I get that, but I also think like
too many.
there are many shows that lead up and have too many cliffhangers and set up too much stuff, and then the loose strings continue for the rest of the season. For me, like if season 2 is anything like season 1, it's all going to be tied back together.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I can get down with on this show compared to like, so I also am on the panel of Quantico.
Okay.
They went and they had so many storylines, so many characters, so many different things, and it never came together. I have faith that these do, so that's why I can sit down and really watch this. I do agree. I think last night's episode was a little bit slow for me, for my take. I still love the show and love the content, but I just want more
or less.
Let's talk.
I like that.
Let's talk with you guys at home. Please tweet at us throughout the show and all week, really, at hashtag ABTV American Crime. We want to know your thoughts, your opinions, your questions. Maybe we can answer some questions, like, because we're experts. Right?
I want to answer a quick question from Twitter. I should have saved this guy's Twitter handle. I'm sure one of you guys might be able to pull it up quicker or more quickly than I can. But one of you guys tweeted us and said that we didn't touch on Elvis Nolasco's character enough, the principal or the teacher at Thurgood Marshall High School. And I just want you guys out there to know, as we've told you on Twitter, we only have about 45 minutes to an hour to discuss.
So we're going to talk about our favorite ice cream flavors.
Yeah, exactly. And also, basically, in our defense, he was like an under 5 last week. Like literally. So.
And it was like but then we moved on.
Let's dive into it. That's a good point. We won't get to everything, especially on a show like this when everything in the world seems to be happening in 1 hour. But we'll get to as much as we can starting right now. I want to start with Leslie and Felicity Huffman's character because we saw her at the very beginning of the episode, then we didn't see her at all, then we saw her at the very end. And a lot of juicy stuff happened with her, even though she was on for like this much of the episode. She was lying about not playing favorites, right? She was being questioned by the reporter.
Yeah.
And she said, listen, we're dealing with this very fairly. However, last week, do you remember when she said, I'm sorry, we gotta suspend the kid whose parents don't donate to us?
Yeah. She has mastered the art of playing both sides of the fence. People, again, going back to what I said last week, people in positions of power like that, they don't get to where they are by playing nice. So she knows how to manipulate the reporter. She knew how to manipulate Dan. And not only is she keeping the peace, or, so she thinks, she is keeping herself out of hot water because she's covering all bases. She pulled out the signature when the reporter, she covered all bases. She called the police. She did everything that she needed to do to not look like the guilty party.
It's true. However, the editing was done nicely, I thought, because it was cutting between her talking to the reporter, lying out of her teeth, and then her looking at this performance art space, right? She's all about the money. And that is, I'm sorry, but it reminds me of Barb and her manipulation in season 1. Just like, I'm pretending to be concerned, but really there's ulterior motives.
She just does it so well when she sat there and she was like, but don't you think we should be concerned about why was he drinking?
Right.
And I was like, holy crap, like you're so good at this manipulation. And we see the other side as the audience, so that's when, but I think I don't think you could, I can't think of another actress to step into her place and do the role like she did. What she brings, I can't even label it or name it. But I'm like, and she ended up getting the journalist to write this article.
She did.
Whether, I don't know, I'm torn. Do you guys think that this outcome of that article was, like the journalist said, she said, I just have to follow the facts. I can only write about what I know and what we have. Did she write a fair article, or did she get sort of twisted?
I think just like last season, the article doesn't really matter so much as the implications it had. Like, the world around the journalists, the world around the news, I'm not really making sense. I don't care so much about what the article said or didn't say. People are going to run wild with whatever story they want. And fast forward to the end of the episode, we have Leslie being asked for a list of names of males who were at the party, and she's like, no, I'm not giving that up. And who was it? Lawyer?
Was it the police chief?
Yeah, it was the police chief.
Police chief,
said this is officially classified as a rape. We found semen on his clothes, on Taylor's clothes, and we found blood on the clothes as well, which suggests that there was force and this was, a rape. What did you guys think of that? Did that surprise you that it was a rape?
I don't even think it surprised her. Did you see the expression on her face when they zoomed in? It wasn't like, oh, I'm so concerned now. We know for sure this is a victim who was involved in a rape. It was like, dang, shoot. We're in some hot water.
Right.
How am I going to get us out of this? Now? I was like blown away. I'm so over her character. Right?
But she's kind of like she's like the Olivia Pope of American Crime. Like so far, she's fixing it. She's being thrown a challenge and she's fixing it. She is not. No one does it like Olivia Pope. Let's just be honest. But so far she has kept everyone pretty even keeled, level headed. No one, well, the kids are now starting to freak out, but all the adults are pretty much acquiescing to what she wants them to do, and even the journalists, and even Dan. It's really interesting.
But is it going to backfire on her?
Yes.
Oh,
for sure.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and I think it already is. I mean, the fact that now they are calling it a rape. It is. There's no. It's not. There are no shades of gray. It's black and white now, and I think that it's about to blow up. And that's why I thought the end of this week's episode was so good, because it's like, things are going to get crazy now that they're officially saying this is rape. Because remember last week, in fact, somebody commented on the YouTube video, you can't call it a rape yet, and I was calling it a rape. Now we are calling it a rape.
And I also went into the YouTube comments and I said we did also call it an alleged rape, and we also did mention Taylor as an alleged victim. We're not perfect here, guys. We're doing the best we can do. Bear with us.
Wait, did you have another thought?
No, I was just gonna say I was surprised that episode 3 that they did come out and say rape. We label it here, which to me that I'm happy with. I love not beating around the bush and posting something that can come out in episode 6. Why not just give it to us now?
Right.
Which I think tells us this story is going to be accelerated hardcore.
But it's also, there's some wiggle room here, because we don't know what Taylor is up to. I'm not saying that Taylor is not innocent. What I'm saying is, I think Taylor's gay, maybe, based on the first episode.
Definitely.
Perhaps. And so maybe it is.
There's definitely
still
something with him. That conversation that he had at dinner with his mother, and his therapist saying, you should talk to your mom, whatever. When he was just that silence, my head was just running with like, what could this silence be from? What is he not? He's definitely not saying something.
Yeah, definitely. And he keeps saying, "I just want this to be over with. I just want this to be over with." You were involved in a rape. I mean, it's not going to just be swept under the carpet. He can't be that naive. So I know he has to be hiding.
See, I think not only is he possibly gay, I think we may have mentioned this last week, I think he may also have been a part of whatever went on that was illegal.
The initiation or something.
He might not just be the innocent party. Maybe he ended up getting ejaculated on, at the end of everything. But
making the team, what they were calling it. At that
making
party.
the team, But maybe at some point in the party, he was also a part of the guilty group of guys.
And I also think there's something else going on. I don't think the sexual harassment was directed only towards Taylor, because there was this moment in the episode when Kevin Lacroix is saying, like we did stuff, talking about this girl. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And then at the beginning of the episode, he was like groping that girl on the dance floor, and she's like, stop it. So I believe that there's going to be more cases opening up throughout the. That's why I think we're so early on in the season and we're calling it a rape, because I believe that it's just the tip of the iceberg.
Wow.
I don't think Taylor's the only victim, I guess is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Because, and going back to like making the team.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you want to talk about Taylor? Because we started going that way. He said he's sorry he ever said anything. He was talking to his therapist saying this is being, this is turning into something he doesn't want it to be. He also says that people don't care when men are violated, just women.
Yeah, and that's true. I mean, if that had been a 16-year-old girl or a 17-year-old girl, we would have been screaming it from the rooftops. Young girl raped, or young girl allegedly raped. There was the Penn State case, or the UNC case, where the rowers allegedly raped the girl, and it went to Newsweek or Time, and all these reporters had to recant their articles, because when a woman says that she's raped, we just automatically believe her and vilify the guys who she alleges were her aggressors. So that was a really key point that's true to life today, unfortunately.
I was just going to say, and then Terry hit it right on the nail when she was like in disbelief. In her culture, I guess, how she was brought up, she was almost taken back. Oh no, boys don't touch other boys. That can't possibly have happened. So I was kind of like dumbfounded at how she handled that.
Me too. I thought that was pretty
interesting. I think that's a generational thing, though. I really do believe that she is of the mindset that rape is a one-way street. It is a man doing it to a woman. And his father, I forget his father's name.
Michael, I think it's Michael. I wrote Michael.
Okay, so Michael Lacroix, it seemed like he wasn't even upset that his son maybe raped someone, but that his son maybe raped a guy.
Yes, because that's what set him off at that conversation.
That's what set him off.
You know what's interesting? I was like, I would love to have a seat in that writer's room, because the conversations they must have about culture, because I don't know if people know this, but I know in the Black culture, oftentimes people, it's really looked down on. Like, if you like a guy, I had a friend who didn't come out for the longest.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was like my family and my friends first. I know they're just that's a no
for Black men.
How he just got angry. He wasn't like, I feel sorry for my son that he might be confused or anything.
Right.
He was just angry, and he was go in there and beat him up in front of him.
He literally like grabbed him by the neck or the face and had he's like, what did you do? What? Yeah.
Boy, yeah. Like, did you touch that boy?
Yeah.
What did you do to that boy?
Right, and I read this recap I was reading on Entertainment Weekly mentioned this, said that was a really interesting point of the part of the episode, because again, it was not about the rape. People don't care about the rape as much as they care about these other things that are so in my mind, so meaningless.
This is set in present day, though.
I take it as
that mindset, like from the parents.
Well, even some of the kids are sort of what's her name? The girl that was at the party with him.
Evie.
Okay, even Evie said, "Why are they asking me if you were with a guy or if you were hanging out with a guy?" So even some of the kids are still taken back that this was about another male on male or rape in that situation. So I don't even know if it is their parents or just that generation or that generation sort of imprinting down.
But it makes sense to me, because there still is that mentality that if you are a masculine person, if you are a basketball player, if you are an athlete of any kind, you're a dude.
You're a dude,
my best friend, Zach, is...
Are you about to out somebody? Right? What are you doing?
No. My best friend Zach has talked to me a lot about homophobia in sports, in collegiate sports. I mean, and I went to a really liberal school, so that my mind was blown. So I think there's gonna be more about sexual orientation in this season.
Oh, definitely.
Joey Polari is the kid who plays what's his name? Eric?
Oh, Eric. Oh, the guy there. Yeah.
Is that his name?
The guy that we saw last episode in the Mustang.
The other cat cussing.
The bitches in the hole.
Yeah. And this week he said parents were concerned about him saying bitches, right?
Yeah.
And he was talking to, was that his brother?
His brother, his younger brother.
Asian girls making good babies. I was like, dude, is this your cover up for being gay?
I don't.
Y'all, what? Okay. I'll keep it to myself. What were we gonna say?
Let's hear.
No, I'd like to hear. Yeah.
I mean,
anytime you say I'm gonna keep it to myself, I'm like, no.
The Asian babies are cute.
No, wait, that's not what you're
Come on.
I swear to you, that's what I was gonna say. Asian babies are really cute.
You were gonna say something really offensive.
Then I was gonna say that Asian and Black babies are really, really cute.
Really?
They are.
Then you're more than welcome to say that.
Okay,
that's.
Asian babies are so cute.
I thought you were about to go somewhere, and I was like, all right, let's do it. Let's go.
I'm just going there. Asian babies are cute, and Asian.
That conversation between him and his brother felt so awkward and forced and weird, and I'm saying, and then as their parents were sort of chatting too, I don't even know. I didn't know really what to take from it.
When you talk to closet cases like that and they're trying to overcompensate, they're like, "Yo, bro, like they make good babies."
Oh yeah, and
like,
what about the
that's
pictures?
Not being straight.
Yeah, what about when he said the pictures? He was like, "Oh yeah, you got pictures?" And he's like, "No, I don't.
I'm not a weirdo
like
you,
like a weirdo."
Yeah,
such an interesting scene.
And I think that scene was realistic too, because if you have an older sister or older brother, or if you're the baby, I'm the baby of my my family. You know, you look up to your big sister, your big brother, and you have awkward, weird conversations, especially if one kid is a senior and the other one's a freshman.
Yeah,
your conversations are pretty awkward. So I didn't find that the conversation was awkward for where they are in their lives, but I did think that Eric was overcompensating for his secret sexual preferences.
I want to go back to Taylor and Anne, that storyline, because we were talking about that and then we sort of went elsewhere. We were talking, do you guys want to say your favorite ice cream flavors? Or did we do that?
They did.
Anne kicking the abusive and the abused couple out of the diner. I thought that was really interesting. It was sort of like something going on in her life being mirrored with something going on in the restaurant. right? Do you remember this moment?
Yeah, I felt like in this episode, that's why I said they gave us a lot of those little bitty eggs and stuff, those Easter eggs hidden, but because I thought that they showed that part because first she was like, I'm a manager, and kind of tried to stand her ground, and she stood up a little more, and then he was like, bitch, like, I don't care, you're a female, you're talking to me, you're in my face, I don't care if you're a manager of this place. So I don't know if they were trying to show, like, you know, how women are treated even in a managerial position. No respect. He was still like, I think he didn't even flinch. He was like, okay, well, bitch, why don't you move along? Nothing. Sorry if I'm using it so harshly.
No, well, I mean, he said that. I think it's cool. What I think it's cool about this, and I think it's character development to show, and also to pan out to, like, our lives. I'm sure when something like this happens, and you don't know what she's going through in her life, and she doesn't know what they're going through, and maybe that is why she stepped up a little bit more harshly or did. I wanted her to do more in a sense. This dude's grabbing the lady by the neck. I don't know. I'm like, call someone, get a plate, do something. This poor lady's having her neck strangled in the booth. You can call somebody.
That would not be over bounds.
Y'all would just you would see
if you see someone being abused, I would call the police.
Okay, well,
I would too.
I'm looking at it from the standpoint of having worked in restaurants before, and seeing people do some very illicit things, whether it's cursing your girlfriend out, or spanking your child a little bit too hard, or doing a line. Like, you see it, I used to work downtown in Los Angeles. Like, you see crazy stuff.
Right. And the spanking capital of LA.
What kind of spanking? And then you just kind of.
I can't.
Sometimes you might say something, you might give like a nasty, like firm look, but then you're like, okay, I just work here.
I get that, and it's like when someone says something racist when you're around them, and you're like, wait. Is
it my place to correct them right now?
It's uncomfortable. I also think, though, like, her son is going through something really awful. And it seems to me like, I'm glad she kicked them out of the restaurant. And I think she did that because she's thinking about what's going on in her own life. But yeah, part of me was like, well, man, you're going to the press about your son. What about all the stuff that's happening on a daily basis? And I do want to say one more thing, because this was mentioned in the episode that when girls get abused, it's in the paper, everybody believes the girl, all this stuff. I'm sorry, there are so many cases of unreported or underreported sex abuse towards girls that don't get picked up. So, like, I don't know that I agree. Like, when Taylor said, if I carried a mattress around, like that girl did on the college campus, people would start to care. But the reason that girl carried the mattress around is because the school initially brushed it off.
Yeah.
She did that because she felt like she needed to get attention. Finally, she did get attention.
And I wonder, too, if sometimes the stories about women who were raped or allegedly raped go unreported because sometimes, this is just sometimes, for example, Chicago Blackhawks' Patrick Kane was accused of rape, and then come to find out she and her girlfriends kind of commiserated to make him look like a rapist, and he really hadn't done it. So sometimes men in high positions are put in precarious situations where women make false claims against them, and so I think the media and people in general are
saying is, we now know that he was raped because there was blood and there was semen with the DNA of somebody else. But I'm not going around saying it was definitely him or it was definitely him. The problem with things like 24-hour news cycle and Nancy Grace is that we make people guilty before they've been proven guilty. And I respect that. But an allegation needs to be taken seriously, even if down the road we find out that a woman or a man is lying about it.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because I think oftentimes what you were saying, Erica, when we keep doing that to women, making them think like, well, those women are giving other women bad names. Because when a woman feels like, oh, well, my skirt, I kind of asked for it. My skirt was a little short. I went up to that hotel room. I was in there having a drink with him, so I can't come out. I put myself in that situation. What is it going to look like? So I think we need to be careful about, kind of condemning coming out, even if it's a shady female has done it before.
Right.
I agree.
Situation.
The lawyer's line of questioning I thought was really interesting when he was talking to Kevin, because he sort of led up to this. He said, okay, his first question was, were you ever alone with the girl at any point in time? Basically inferring that these are little things that, could that have been the start of it? Just because you were alone in a room with the girl, can she then go and say something or whatever that is? And I do agree 100% with, even though there are these people that are going to take take advantage of it or do whatever, you still need to treat. And I think it is a taboo topic for society right now. I don't think society knows what to do with it and how to handle it.
Yeah, it's really tough, and we are talking about sensitive issues here, and I think we need to, like, I think we should watch this show like we should watch the news when we see stories like this on the news. Proceed with caution, but try to take the victim, try to believe the victim until you can't anymore. I don't know, it's tough.
Or just try to have a clear, open mind. Try to choose to not believe or not believe anybody. Just observe.
Yeah.
Just an observer, casual.
That's very smart.
Observer.
Let's hop now to Evie, the Taylor's girlfriend.
Girl.
Okay, yes.
Female buddy. Friend. The only reason why
are they not dating?
No, but I really
they are. They can't be.
But look, why do they keep showing guys in her face?
Yeah.
Why
At
is
the
it
school.
that
Wait a
they
minute.
always
Did
show
I
a
just
guy
make that
in her
assumption that
face?
they were dating?
We
No,
kind of made
they
that
said-
assumption before, but I don't think.
No, they said it on the show that I think we made the assumption that they weren't dating, but they on the show they allude that they are dating. That's supposed to be his girlfriend.
Is she his beard?
That's what I was.
I don't know
thinking.
though, because does she think that she's dating? I don't even know that she thinks she's dating him at this
No,
point.
didn't she say? Hasn't she confirmed like that was her boyfriend? Why would she hang out with him? I don't know.
Tweet at us.
Yeah.
Anyway, Evie is questioned about the party and how Taylor disappeared, came back at 1:30 unconscious, and she said, when questioned about like sexual stuff going on, it seemed like she didn't even consider that an option.
Yeah. She seemed a little bit clueless and aloof.
She just thought it was the photos.
Yeah. And then she did mention that Eric brought them home, or Eric dumped us off.
And he acted weird.
Yeah.
Seemed off about something.
You think she knows a little bit more than what she's saying?
I remember what we said last week.
Okay, here's
though?
the thing. We said that she could be like the little key that holds out for little. I don't think she does at this point. When she was being questioned and she was like, "This is literally all I know," I believed her for some reason.
Does more and more of the story come out every time she tells it? She told it to the mom. It wasn't that much of the story. Now a little bit more. Of the
I think
story
because
is
she's
coming
learning
out.
from the questions that the dude was asking her. That's what made her trigger. Like, wait, is there a guy involved? Why is he asking me these kind of things? I don't see her story changing, at least thus far. I love how they handled it. How Elvis, what's his name, Chris, I think.
Was it Chris in the show?
Yeah, I love how he was like, listen, you don't, because we saw this last season. He was like, you don't need to go there. You don't need to answer questions, and you need to wait till we have an adult present.
I thought because he was such a bad boy last season, and this season he's like Mr. Perfect.
I love it.
See, I didn't think he was a bad boy last season, but we had this argument last year.
He was I thought he was damn edgy.
I mean, he was very edgy, but they want us to think he was a bad guy.
Yeah,
and I
true.
remember.
I don't think he was a bad guy. I don't think he was a bad. I don't think he was a villain. Wait a minute. I don't think he was a villain. I just thought he was a little bit like.
But he was as much of a bad guy as his little cute little blonde girlfriend. They were. I mean, I think they were equally bad and equally edgy.
True. I think
but not
his
at all.
blonde girlfriend was a disaster.
Okay.
When she's playing her fam. Oh no.
That girl.
Go back to season 1 and
She
watch
was
what we
good.
said. Yeah.
Anyway, back to Taylor. He doesn't want to talk to his mom because he's embarrassed. He doesn't think his mom should have spoken up. We talked a little bit about that earlier. He reiterates that a second time in the episode. It's obvious that this kid did not want her talking to the press.
Yeah, but what teenager wants their sexual indiscretions out in the streets?
I'm still so torn on this, and I think now I love seeing how much social media and how fast. Like she said, Terry was at her office, and that dude came in. He's like, "Did you? Oh, the article that just came out." He's like, "So wait, I'm a little confused. Was your son or whatever?" And that shows you first of all what people pull and the assumptions people get. This article may not have said any of that, and he automatically has his assumption. And within 2 minutes, people are writing on Facebook, on this post, on that. That shows how. I mean. This story will now follow you forever. When they were saying whether true or not, you Google their names, rape comes up. That's a terrifying thing.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's what Terry was getting at. She immediately, again, was not upset about the rape. It was like, my son's name and our association with this incident.
He's going to college.
Yeah.
He's got to have a reputation. No one seems concerned about this rape. However, now that we are calling it a rape, I wonder if in the next episode and in the following episodes, people are going to be like, oh, okay, this is not just a rumor anymore.
Yeah.
We'll see. I want to talk about Terry because she is,
Terry.
First of all, Regina King is at it again.
Yeah.
I think she is so lovely and she does such a great job of playing these characters that you half side with and half are like, oh boy. For example, what I mean by that is she's very self-loathing in a way. She talks about black people in a way that, and I would like your opinion on this, because she is very critical of black people who screw it up for the rest of them, which is not unlike last season. She had a character who felt the same way.
Terry is looks like she's a self-made professional, maybe a self-made millionaire. And I'm going to call Terry the Stacey Dash of today, because I don't know if you guys out there know what's going on with Stacey Dash, but Stacey Dash right now is on this Fox News campaign to bash other black actors and entertainers.
What are your thoughts on that?
We need a whole
we got to talk about this another week.
But I think it goes hand in hand.
Okay, so Stacey Dash is upset with other black actors who are deciding to boycott the Oscars for not being diverse. Okay, I think that maybe there were not enough Oscar-worthy roles that black people were in this year, but sometimes you have to take one for the team and shut the hell up, Stacey Dash. Like, honestly, it's not just about this year's Oscars. It's about Oscars in years past. It's about the fact that every time a black person is nominated for an Academy Award, we're playing a slave, or or the help, or a maid, or somebody cleaning your shoes,
the angry black woman,
the angry black woman, or the Denzel Washington who's going to kill you in the middle of the street. Like, it's never like the all-American Jennifer Lawrence type character. It's always the help, the maid, the slave, the bad guy.
And the reason I'm asking this is because they said literally in this episode, "Out comes the black card," right?
Yeah, she did. Yeah,
so it seems like it goes hand in hand with what we're seeing in the news. Another example of John Ridley being like hitting the nail on the head culturally.
Being very topical. But yes, so Terry's a self-made successful person, and I think she has Stacey Dash syndrome. She's gotten to where she's gotten, and now she's forgotten about the little people. And I saw on Facebook, I wish I could remember who wrote this, but someone on Facebook wrote that Stacey Dash and Tiger Woods have the disorder of being black as long as it's convenient, but then when you get assimilated with the white people, then it's like, okay, I forget about you. But now when you start coming down from your success, now you want to be down with the people who helped make you. You're like, well, this is a lot, Erica.
No. I want.
It's not. These are the discussions we should be having on a panel about American crime, which deals with race in modern day America.
So
if anything, to me, like I'm not going to even go on the stage. I'm sure everyone is knocking her from left to right with this, but it's really was saddening to me to hear her say something like that a couple of days after MLK Day. It was pretty much a slap in everyone's faces who fought so hard for equality. And it's not us. We don't have a Black History Month, she said. Get rid of it, is what she said in her statement.
She doesn't want
get rid of BET. Get rid of Black History Month, because we're not trying to segregate. We want to integrate. And I understand that, but there's a better way you could have made that point instead of being so disrespectful for people who work so hard to get us to where we're trying to go. We're still trying to go today. And history is put in place to teach us so we can learn from it.
Right.
So when I think about, I would not be sitting here if I watched the Oscars 10 years ago and never saw somebody who looked like me on it. I would have been like, maybe I can't do this. So to me, I saw Will Smith's interview and he was saying that. He was saying, how can I explain this to my kids? Like, why are there no representation? Beast of No Nation was amazing. Right. Like, you're going to tell me, Creed, Michael B. Jordan was amazing. Will Smith, the work that they put into these roles, Will Smith in Concussion was so good, but still had Will Smith, the element of him in it. And I'm just like, it's the recognition for that. And if you're going to tell me, if you can sit there and say none of that was good, okay, I will shut up.
I would suggest that
we didn't even mention Straight Outta Compton.
Straight Outta Compton.
I didn't see that, so I couldn't mention it, but I will.
I would suggest that a character like Terry, who starts out the episode firing a black girl, and the girl, a black woman, and the black woman says, "Please, can't you do anything about it?" And then it cuts to her at this fancy dinner, saying, "Oh, there comes the black card. Where they need me when they need me, and they don't when they don't." And I just think it's interesting because we see a lot of white people being racist against black people. We see a lot of examples of white people being racist against Hispanic people, Latino people. We do not so much see black people being on TV.
Yeah, you're right about that, and you were hitting it on the nail the whole time you were talking. I'm like, you're saying it, because We like to turn our noses up at each other, and to me it's so saddening and hard. I hear it all the time. Why can't we help each other, you know? And I was talking to a friend today about that. I was like, how do we expect to get ahead when we can't start within? And that's it's not a cliche, that's so true, like in every race, you know. But it was really just hardening for me to see how she was treated, and then it came back on.
But I do want to say this. I do want to say this.
Please.
So yes, some black people, I'm sure, as do other races, oftentimes discriminate against each other within their own ethnic groups. I'm sure that's typical across all races. But so if we're talking about Terry, she's black. Yes, we definitely do that. In this particular instance, her actions against this employee were validated, we guess, because the employee had bad behavior, had been written up, or had warnings. So she may have been justified in firing her, but what she was not justified in doing was going to that fancy dinner party and bragging about how she, had to do such and such to a black woman around people who are not black.
But Erica, was she justified? The employee was trying to explain. Because when you're getting picked on or bullied in the workplace and somebody who's higher upper than you, you don't have anyone to go to. But she thought, this is a sister right here. Maybe she can understand where I'm coming from. Why were you late? Well, who knows? I have my daughter. Maybe I talked to the supervisor about this, but he said it was okay. Now he's turning it back.
I don't know.
We don't really know why she was fired, but Terry could have handled it with a little bit more. Compassion.
She was pretty harsh in the firing of it. I don't know, for me watching it, I was like, I can't decide really if this lady should be fired or shouldn't. I don't have enough information on that respect. But I definitely agree with where she went wrong. Okay, you want to be a hard person to work. Like, I get that. A lot of CEOs, CFOs are that reason. But to sit at dinner and say that stuff, that's immediately when it's like, okay.
Yeah, like that's kitchen table talk with other black people. Like, if you're going to be prejudiced against your own, save that for kitchen table talk with other black people, not with this Middle Eastern couple or white people, whoever it could be.
It reminds me of last season with Alonzo and Tony. Alonzo would constantly say to Tony, "You're not going to be another Mexican stereotype, lazy Mexican stereotype who just works at a car repair shop." And I remember watching that last season being like, wow. This is something I don't see a lot of. So I'm glad we're seeing it.
And you talked about stereotypes. Did y'all notice how the children in the classroom, how they just feed off of what's going on?
Yes.
They started just throwing out the stereotypes.
That's kids in every classroom, though. I thought that was funny, actually. Maybe I listen.
I grew up in public school too. That is, I mean,
that's how we did.
A lot of
let's jump now. This is a great discussion. This is a great discussion. I'm sure we'll have it throughout the season. But I do want to now jump to more about Terry and Kevin because there's so much to their storyline this week. Kevin mentioned that his dad and his mom are worried about what people are thinking. People are watching them. They have to be a good representation of a black family in a predominantly white school system, or a private school, I should say. So there was a lot of talk about race in this episode. Terry also hears about the article later on in the episode, and this is where Regina King, I was like, give her an award for this performance. This website I read about, this website I read an article about this episode. I read a recap. And they were saying that Terry was double fisting the phones Terry's double fisting the phones in a way that he's never seen before on television. She was a badass.
Took so much control. I mean, on one line she's like, "Go get him now, yes, go!" And then she's she's leaving a voice where she's like, "I need that." I mean, I'm like, that's why she is where she is, because that's how she reacts in that situation.
But in this moment of panic, there is no compassion for the rape victim. It's all, how is my kid gonna look? And maybe that's natural.
Okay, you know what? That I have to say, whether it sounds good or bad, I mean, this may say something about myself. I think that's a normal response. You are going to protect your own immediately, because you don't know. And as soon as someone puts an allegation against you or your family, if you guys are close, and your child, at first your mind is like, they are wrong, my family is right, now let's get our shit together and fix it.
I don't see Terry protecting Kevin at all. It's always going back to protecting the family's name, our name, what we look like in
what's
society.
The difference? What's the difference there?
I've never seen her they had the one conversation that was a pretty good conversation, but it was, for me, it was still on the surface level. I don't ever see her really get a heart-to-heart. This is why there's expectations on us. Let him know. She needs to explain why she feels this way. Like, at I'm not saying if it's right or wrong why she acts the way that she's acting, because I get it. I you know, when you're a middle class family, you do sometimes feel like there are people watching you. There's expectations on you because, you know, what people see out in the TV. And we were talking about this. I had a friend who came from Europe, and he said he didn't know anything about the culture out here except what he watches on TV. The shows that they get out there is like, was Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He said he went to an audition and that's how he acted. They wanted somebody urban. And I was like, why did you do that? He was like, well, that's the only station we had out there that was from America. That's what I saw. That's how a black man is supposed to act. Yo, what's up? And I was like, well, that's not accurate. We're all different. And I think she wants to steer him away from falling into those stereotypes. That's why she was like, rape is going to be connected to his name. Did she ever say, well, he's going to be going through a lot now. He's everything that's about to like fall on him right now. He's crying in his room, trying to be strong because that's what, you know, he's been taught. And all she was worried about was the name.
But talk about fighting stereotypes. Later on in the episode, she says, boys don't get raped. I mean, she's a walking contradiction.
She is.
Aren't we all, though? I think that's why the show, and even like you said, it's kitchen talk. That's what the show shows, is everyone's little behind the door talk.
And I want to give Michael, the dad, Andre 3000, some credit because where Terry falls short, Michael, I feel, is connecting with Kevin in a parental, a good way as a parent, as a guidance counselor. So no, maybe Terry's not the most maternal mother figure, but Michael had that little one-on-one, heart-to-heart with him, and was like, you know, you got to be better, you got to be good, you know, less is more, whatever he said,
and explained it.
And so
do more with less or something. I like that quote a lot. Okay, write that, minimalist.
I do want to talk more about. I do want to talk a little bit more. We don't have much time. A little bit more about Kevin and how he had to talk to the lawyer at the end of the episode. That seems important. Right, the lawyer comes in and is questioning him. Did you have sex? Did you do this? Did you do that? And he's panicked. He's on the phone with Nikki later saying, I'm scared.
Nikki, isn't that the girl
who's at dinner with?
The girl he groped?
And in my mind, that makes him seem guilty. I wrote that down. I said, God, the fact that he says I'm scared makes me think that he has a reason to be scared.
Yeah, but didn't you see the talk with Eric and the two, when they were still at school? So they didn't have the privilege of having a lawyer come, getting pulled out of school. They were still standing at school and they're like, what do we do? He's gone. What's happening? And they all seem scared too. So I don't think it's just, when I saw that, I'm like, okay, that's when we go back to the same thing of like more happened at that party than just, I think, this one rape that they have confirmed. Yeah. They all seem a little sketch, and I think it could be that whole initiation thing, that whole making the team thing. I think they're doing a lot of kids do shady things at parties.
Yeah,
so if suddenly they're like, we're going to go through this party with the fine comb, whatever that saying is.
Fine-tooth comb.
That would freak anyone out, I think, that's getting a little crazy at a party.
I have a personal story. I'm not going to say too much, but it relates. I was at a party in college where a girl got alcohol poisoned, and everyone was underage except for one person there, including me. And I did not give her any alcohol, I didn't give her anything to drink, but I was there and the police came. Like, it was bizarre. I remember, like, she went to the hospital, my girlfriends and I were all freaking out because we knew what was going on, but we didn't stop it, and we were there in the house. So I just remember being so afraid that when the SHIT hit the fan, even though I didn't do anything, I was here drinking and I knew it was going on. So I'm saying that to say Kevin might be guilty. He might not be. Eric might be guilty, but they're guilty by association. So he's scared, but that doesn't implicate him any further than Eric or anyone else.
All right, you guys, we have to wrap things up, and I want to have time to make predictions. So quickly, I will say this: we did not get to the coach and his wife and that drama. Please tweet at us. We are willing and ready to talk. I don't feel too bad about it because we did cover a lot of ground.
I don't feel bad about it at all.
I'm not even going to lose any sleep over this.
Their scene was weird. The coach.
We'll talk more about this.
Allegiance. I can't get her out of my head.
I know.
Okay, so before we get going, let's make some last-minute predictions, okay?
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right, who wants to start? Anybody have a burning prediction? Okay, so my thought is that Taylor and Eric have something going on. And I think that they're more freaked out about that being exposed than they are about the drama that we know of now, right? Like, I think there's a reason Taylor is so freaked out that his mom is going to the press about this.
Really quickly, do you think the team knows of this? Is that what they're all knowing about, or you think no?
I don't know. That's a good question. But I maybe it's just me wanting there to be like a homosexual character or more representation on TV. But I really want to see this plot point played out in like that way that I think it's going in. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It does. My prediction is that one of the players will either confide in Dan, or maybe Dan will somehow figure out that he'll figure out who's guilty. So he'll be put in an arbitrary position where he knows who's guilty. He knows more than he wants to know.
I'm happy that you brought up Dan, because that whole conversation really quickly about, I want to predict something more with him. He came out weird in the first when he was recording his daughter. Now his wife's being like, why aren't we having like all this sex? What's happening? This and that. I think Dan is a question mark on him right now.
Yeah.
My prediction would be, I wouldn't be surprised if Kevin just like had a breakdown and spilled the beans about everything. The way they showed him slowly melting down about all of this, and then he has the pressure of his parents. I wouldn't be surprised if he kind of gave it all up.
Because of, you think he did something to Taylor or somebody else?
No, I think he knows what happened,
and
I think I wouldn't be surprised if he's the one that brings out the truth, because the slow meltdown and all the pressure that he's getting from his
And
parents.
Regina King is his mom, so
Yeah.
I'd be scared of her too. She's
Agreed.
a badass.
Yeah,
in
no,
this
she
show.
is killing.
Awesome.
All right, you guys, let's tell everybody where they can find us. You can find me, Jon Manganello, at Johnny Mangs on Twitter and Instagram. Follow me so I don't hate myself.
Oh, no. I'm Erica Renee Davis. You can find me on Snapchat, Twitter, Periscope, Instagram at Erica Renee D.
I'm Nicholas Grava. You can follow me at Nicholas Grava, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat.
I'm Erica Jaye Green. That's Jaye, and you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff.
And please tweet at all of us in general using the hashtag ABTV American Crime. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week with a very special guest.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.